Well, we can get a South African perspective on things now and have a chat with former Springboks head coach Peter de Villiers. How you doing, mate?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for actually allowing me on your show. Um, I mean, I waited so long for you guys just to take notice of me and give me this opportunity to speak to you. And yeah, I hope that we will have a great show tonight.
Yeah, awesome, Peter. Well, it's great to have you. We have asked Rassie as well 10 times, but now he's banned. So you were always second in line if he wasn't going to come through. So
talking about South African rugby being on a high at the minute and the development of young players is fantastic, but the development of that South African Springbok team at the minute, people looked at it before the game on Saturday and saw a load of big players missing, the likes of Cheslin Colby, Peter Steph Toy banned, a few others weren't able to play, Vincent Koch as well, but my goodness, what a team that was, and some of the fines of the likes of Aransa on the wing, it was ridiculous. What were your thoughts on the game? It was a massive performance. I couldn't see any area that England even competed in, let alone bettered the Springboks in. It was a complete performance from you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, let me tell you, if you look at the individual brilliance of some of the players who were allowed to become in space, is because of the non-existing type of game that England brought to the field. They wanted to beat South Africa on a kicking game. You might as well drop Marcus Smith on Wednesday. On Thursday, didn't allow him to go to the field because he will never be able to play that kind of rugby, kicking balls away when there's so much space for him to run in. You know, he's a Quade Cooper kind of guy at times, where he will create nothing out of something out of nothing. But for him to play strict to a pattern where you kick away the ball, you can see what happened to New Zealand rugby when Bowden Barrett start kicking away all the ball and they're not living to what they were doing the best. So on Saturday, England brought South Africa into the game more than what South Africa actually did it themselves this whole year.
Do you think England's lost a bit of its identity individually?
And not England only, if you look at Wales and look at all those kind of things, if you look at basketball in America too, people has given up individual brilliance and skill for bulk, and that what was very good in Europe. A smaller, talented individual will always be better than a big one. But a big talented one. So if you can find a big talented one, go for it. But don't go for
Guilty.
the big guys.
Peter, what's the lay of the land with Rassie over there? What are the conversations being had amongst media and ex-coaches and the public really on, I mean, you could call it his behaviour, but his comments around social media, what he's been putting on there. I know John Smith came out and said it's made the Boks easy to dislike them. So, and that's quite a big statement coming from one of the greatest captains to have played for South Africa.
Yeah, I think it's very indifferent at this stage here in this country. If you look at our media, they went numb on this whole thing, and I'm not surprised because they actually don't understand what this game is made of. Truly, what you see on that field in 80 minutes is only 5% of and Andy knows this, and you know it, Jim, of what you guys put in to become what you were. For them not pulling him in back into line, for SA Rugby, not to pull him back and to tell him what they actually want as a team, the values around the game, the norms and those kind of things. So yeah, it's a lot of individuals, a lot of ex-Springboks who is not very happy with him. But let's see when he come back, because in this country, right has become wrong and wrong has become right.
Yeah, they certainly do. And my take on it, just for a bit of interest, I'm interested to know what your take on it. I actually completely agree with a lot of what he's saying. And when he puts the videos out, you can't not watch them and go, well, he's right in what he's saying, but is it just the wrong forum? I mean, I understand it started with the 62-minute video that he put out after the British and Irish Lions first test, and maybe 62 minutes was a bit long, could have kept it to 59, but it was, for me it was educational. For a lot of people, I'm still trying to work out whether it's a genius tactic or it's against the values of the game. Where do you sit with it? Because it is an education to people, isn't it, for some of the videos that are going out there?
Andy, that is not the game. That is not the game. The game is made out of milliseconds, quick decisions for players and for referees. Things that you miss, but you don't even know you missed it until you sit back and think of, I could have stepped there because the guys overthread there. For you to go sit 14, 15, 16 till 25 hours watching a thing over and over, you'll pick up so many bad things. What my take on this whole thing is, why didn't he put out the bad things that the Springboks were allowed to do? Then to me it was a just call, because then he wants to show how bad the referee is on his judgment calls. But for whenever we lose, to go sit there and show how what he missed here, what he missed there, and he had the time to replay and then made the videos. This is not what our game, Jim, is all about. Our game is punch the guy here and the strength of running over somebody and competing, and that's what our game is all about. But it became so soft nowadays, and with this little thing, I don't think that we want to be exposed so much of our weaknesses in being part of the game. I do things wrong, you do things wrong. If you go look at all your games now, both of you two guys, and you go sit and look at what you could have done, but you didn't do.
Awful. I ain't gonna lie, I was awful.
Yeah, me too. Be honest, Pete, I was as well.
We're messing up our lovely game with it.
So you disagree with some of the way that he's gone about it. What do you think about the wider game? So now you've had a bit of time away from the top table. When you look on the outside looking in, there's a lot going on in England, the demise of two clubs, the concussion take, and everything around the growth of the game. We've seen that around some of the internationals, the poor atmosphere, etc. What's your take on a kind of rounder scale of the game of rugby at the minute, Peter? Has it grown since you were in the hot seat of South Africa, would you say?
I don't think the game has grown. I think the game has lost its identity fully. For me, running into you, Jim, it will be the stupidest thing that I ever did in my life. But I know if I run at a certain angle and I get my feet off the ground, I might get you off the field. You understand? And that's not what this game is all about. If you look at scrummaging, we penalize teams for not being strong. When in the scrum, when some team push them backward, it's immediately a penalty. And I mean, how can you penalize somebody who's already been penalized not to be at your level? Those are the things that I think this game. If you tackle a guy, if you don't roll away quickly, you're going to be pinned. If you keep him, if you hold him too long, you're going to be pinned. If you don't hold him, he's going to run away again. I think we made the laws silly, so that the referees who's not competent can fit into the game. And another thing to me that's very, very bad in the game that we are watching at this stage is that nobody's taking responsibility for any decisions that they make. It's not me, it's a TMO. It's not the TMO, it's my assistant ref. Everybody is blaming or listening to somebody else. Now, who is the sole judge of this game that made it so nice for me and you to hide behind that little things, that made it great? Nobody did see me. Wow, look at the blue eye the guy got. I loved it. I really still love it, because this game is built on fear. If you can get your opponent's fear quicker than what he will get yours, your chances of getting him out of the game is so much bigger. But at this stage, nobody is fearing anything, because the referee is standing there like a Sunday school teacher and say to the guy, but your tie is not properly knotted, so you can't come into my class, or rather go sit on the bench. This is where this game is going at this moment to me.
Yeah, and if you're Jim Hamilton, you weren't scared of anything, were you, Jim?
Well, I didn't have my tie on properly at school, so...
Let's talk the next year then. Obviously, that's the Springboks done for this season in terms of 2022. 2023 starts with some games over in South Africa, and then the Rugby Championship that leads into the World Cup. You're obviously defending champions. Are you back in the Springboks to bring home the bacon again, or is it so wide open that we're seeing international rugby, and how exciting is that at the minute?
The way world rugby teams, nations are respecting other rugby teams so much, I think we has gained too many respect from all the other countries. And people will come out against us not to lose instead of their old mindset of do everything to win. And that might count in our favor, the fact that people already now starting to work out how we gonna stop the kick, how we gonna do this, forget about those things. Ask how are they gonna stop us doing what made us. And if you look at it's only New Zealand at this stage you can say this is the way they play. All the other guys, you don't know how they play rugby anymore. So if they don't know how they play, how confusing it is. I said to a bunch of guys today, I say, if you can get 5 players in a mini unit to think like one, nobody will stop them speed-wise, because the running lines will be different, the supporting will be brilliant, everything will, if you can get that. But nowadays, people are shooting out of the line. They can't make a decision of can I try this? Can I try this? It's just wow. To me, I think they got a very good chance to go back into that World Cup and go do what they do best. The only thing for them that I'm aware of and a bit fear is that they don't have a second team.
What about a 10? Peter, who do you think's best for there? We've seen that kicking at goal's an issue. Love Damien Villiers, he looks class. Andre Pollard injured over the hill, some idiot on a podcast said. But apparently he's only 28. But who would you have at 10? Who's your 10 going into the World Cup, having seen Damien Villiers and Faf struggling at goal?
Well, the 2 things that they do have now at this stage, I would nurse these guys to go play in certain games what we want to go play. If you want to go attack everybody, then okay. With those centers, I don't think we can attack much. But the 2 that they do have there now, I think Mani and Damien can take us a long way. But what they do need is they really need some exciting outside backs or inside backs to get the best out of them. If Mani plays at 10, I don't think that any team will have a problem to stop the Boks, because the 12 next to him won't be able to catch up with him.
What 12? Who won't?
The Allende, the Allende, the big number 6.
Hang on, you don't like him, Pete?
No, it's not that I don't like him. To me, your most creative players should be in 10 and 9, 10 and 12.
Guilty.
If you get somebody to run over, you might just give Jim a chance to come play at 12. Come, let's run over people. That's not what the game was made of. So we're making it a bit boring, and then at times the people who are watching the game and give this accolades of man of the match will give a man of the match title to some of these guys doing those things, and to me they're killing the game by doing that, because now they believe what we do is right. So there's so much room. There's so much room for us all to improve, if we're only gonna get to a mindset where we're gonna allow the players to think and to play. With what we do have now, that bunch of youngsters, they want to play. If there's a bit of space, they will make the most of it. It's actually great to see we got wingsters that make Mapimpi and Colby look like beginners, if they're not there. But so do England. England have those players, but they don't create those kind of space for those players to go showcase. And I believe that the experience that those international players do have in England, if we just can allow them to go be creative on the wings and with their strength, recycle balls and stuff like that, I think that big forwards, if they run onto that ball, I'm telling you now, nobody will be able to stop them. But at this stage, they are actually giving away space by giving the ball away.
Rugby pod.